gentlemen, welcome.
4, 3, 2, 1. All right. That means that we're on now. We are live. That was a lot of noise.
We are live.
We are live. Welcome to Fracking the Hoard number 2 with our resident guest, that way, HayfroSells, and my lovely wife, Spam Banshee. How about that? Welcome to us. My name's Primo Kimo, and this is called Fracking the Hoard because that's what I named it, and that means that we're selling the small stuff, fracking, and it's a giant hoard pile, which we'll show you someday, maybe not. But welcome, Hayfros. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. I have a quick question, and maybe this is me just not knowing, but can you tell me what the origin of the Primo Kimo is?
Primo. Well, I'm actually wearing a shirt right now, which is basically the derivation. No, what do you call it when you? What's a word? Yeah, derivation.
Derivative.
Derivative. It's Primo beer from Hawaii. So, and I was literally saying this to the Exotic Ed over on the local radio station here, who was interviewing us about tiki stuff. And he asked the exact same question, and the answer, I will give you the exact same answer, which is when I was a kid, we used to go to, I grew up in California Bay Area, and we would vacation to Disneyland or Hawaii. That was it. Sometimes both places in the same summer. And when I went there as a kid, we'd be on Waikiki Beach, and I would not, I couldn't sit still, too hyper. And I'd be running around, and I would sort of link up with local kids. And at some point, I was traumatized very deeply by them chasing after me, calling me Howley, which is a sort of a pejorative for mainlanders, really pigmentless people such as myself, who were coming to the islands to enjoy it and stuff, and kind of invaders in a mild way, and they would make me drink Primo beer, and then I was their friends. So it was like kind of a scary thing, and then I was 8, and then I drank beer at 8, and then they were my friends. So Primo.
So what's the Kimo part?
Kimo is Hawaiian for Jim or James. But they do not have a J.
Okay, that makes sense.
They do not have a J, and then they end words with vowels. So
beer Jim.
Beer Jim. Or Primo is number one cousin in Spanish. It usually means like the best too. And my old name that I used to call myself when I was a kid was King James. I used to run around saying King James.
Yes. So I think we should start. With addressing the comments. That way, that'd be a good starting point.
Let's start
before they get buried.
Yes. So hello to Gina V527 and Jet Fixer, and Motorcycle Dork is in the chat right now.
Hello, people.
Aloha, everybody. Let's start. Yeah, I'll start at the top. Hello, gentlemen. I'll be driving when y'all first start. I need some help advice. I've done 5 resets so far. Friday, a full store reset. Crickets over the weekend. Half store on Tuesday. Read next. Crickets still. Just a few sales. My impressions and page clicks are up. I'm doing all the things. Anything else to try? Also, I know my server switched from East Coast to West Coast 2 weeks ago.
And then Jet Fixer says, how do you know about the server switch?
That was my first question. How do you know about that's exactly what first thing, I'm just curious how you would know that. Because maybe I would want to know how to know that. And then Jet offered, who is quite knowledgeable in these things, suggested a bulk edit. Sign out, close the tab, and then sign in again, at least for a start. And then Gina replied, I have saved search for years. I'm on the East. Oh, she's answering the question. And I'm on the East Coast. It would come through at 7, then switch to 10.
I feel this is above my pay grade.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I operate on East Coast time, so but whenever I do anything on eBay, it is Pacific. So if I'm doing something, so when I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do my nuclear reset my entire store every single day, it is 3 o'clock when they go live. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So it is earlier because eBay is on Pacific time. Maybe that's what you're noticing, that you just are now noticing that the times on eBay are saying Pacific time. They're always going to be 3 hours behind if you're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But it kind of thinks like she's saying the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, she is.
And then she says, it's making me sign in a lot now. It did for me for a while, too. Remember, for a while, it was like, kept asking me to do the capture. I don't know what that is. I can't say, but I think yeah, try the sign out thing. And then I would definitely, when you're relisting things, when you're doing the reset, are you changing something in your ad? Because there's so many things that it could be, especially if you're not super, if you haven't been following, if you haven't been like making sure your titles are right and your item specifics are right, those are mandatory things that have to be done, or the reset wouldn't work because you still just won't be seen because those things aren't right. I'm not sure. Other than that, Motorcycle Dork is here. FR is here. Hello, welcome. Bendel 420 reset working awesome for my store. Finally, all numbers 50 to 60% higher.
Nice.
That's what you should be expecting. And hey, Froze, he's typing. You should be talking. That's okay. He's asking.
I didn't want to talk over you.
Well, thank you.
He's polite.
Yeah, that is nice. And by the way, I just want to say, Bridget and I find your dulcet, calm tones of your. I'm very hyper, and you're very calm.
Yes,
And it's like you're part of the Calm app.
nice.
They should do you on the Calm app.
Wow, I don't think anybody has ever said that, so I do appreciate that.
Your videos are just nice and soothing.
Yeah, they're calming. I could turn it on and then just be.
She gives me
lull
massages
myself
to
to sleep. I'm just like, oh.
What?
Well,
You put Bridget to sleep.
No. It's very it's entertaining. I listen to the whole thing, but it's very soothing. Your tone is soothing to me. So
could be beta testing on your account, Jet says. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I haven't talked about too much is that we have two different accounts. One we made during the pandemic 2 years ago. One is 24 years old. The 24-year-old one does not have some of the features the new one does, like using spendable funds. With our old one, our perfect old account does not have spendable funds, but our new one does, and it looks different. There's different, different modules look different. So I don't know.
yeah, I think there were a couple other things too where we noticed, hey, that's not available on the old account or the 24-year-old account. Yeah.
So I don't know. I wish I could.
What are the different sizes of the two stores?
What are the main differences?
Yeah, like how many items does your main store have, and how many items does your small store?
The main store now has almost 1,900. We've been a listing frenzy, and then the small store has under 200. The nuclear reset's very easy on that one. Just one
I
page.
can imagine.
But the nuclear reset has the sales are up 300% since I just did the sometimes I would do just the lackadaisical reset like once a week or once every 2 weeks, and then I started doing it every day, and I get sales on it every day of 180 items. I get a sale or two. I mean, but they're small items like Lego boxes, like boxes for Legos.
Empty
boxes. I sold a nutcracker today. Oh,
your video.
Yeah, that's
somebody
called me.
in.
I guess I gotta put myself on do not disturb. I didn't do that. Sorry.
Hey, Jet, did you get my joke on my thumbnail for my video?
Ooh, we have a delicious glass of something here. Let's see.
Oh, it's too early for me. I got coffee.
Well, it's too early for me too.
Looks like we're frozen.
Oh yeah, we're frozen in time. Let's see what do we got here.
I see you moving.
Oh, you do? I think it's just frozen on our thing here. So so we haven't told anybody, but we're drinking, this is Martinelli's apple cider. And when we're drinking wine recently, it's been grape juice because I'm on hardcore diet mode, so I can't even.
We are frozen.
Are we frozen?
Mm-hmm.
You're moving for me on my screen, but on the YouTube channel, you're frozen.
Okay. We're going to have to fix this. How do you fix it? So, if you want to, is there anybody let's see what we can talk about. 6x6 says, "What's up, gents and spam?" I'll fix my video in just a second. And then 11%, Bendel says, "When I drop to 7, crickets."
Huh.
Okay, so now let me go here.
You know what I can't figure out is why some people get good results when they drop out of promoted listings, and why some people get like the worst sales ever.
Well, why am I getting huge sales and I quit promoting altogether? That's what I want to know. And my organic stuff is above. I sell what I consider the things I sell to be very, very desirable, but we all should think that. So I don't know if I'm accurate. And when they don't sell, I'm really perplexed. And I know they turned us on Sunday or Saturday this weekend. It was a big jump. So, and you had a great day yesterday, which was, what day was yesterday? Wednesday? Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday. Hump day.
Hump day, and you had a huge sale. So, our huge sales. I mean, did you say that? Do you mind sharing that it was the biggest? You said it was the biggest day.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking on Messenger, I was having a good day. I think I was up like 3, and then I had a $620 sale, which is the biggest sale I've ever had on eBay. Like, I generally don't list. Like, my mindset is, I just sell a lot of bread and butter. I don't like selling super, super expensive stuff because I just don't like opening myself up to, things going wrong. But I got it cheap enough, and I got that sale, and then I got a couple other sales like late in the night, like when I was making the video. So yeah, I was at $960 for the day, which is, I think, the most I've ever made in one day on eBay.
That is awesome. My biggest day was $10,000. And it was one item. It was a chair. And then my second biggest was $4,800. Well, these are single items. $4,800 for an Apple II computer that I found with sawdust in it in a barn. And it was like the one of the first 2,000 built, and they were the circuit boards for these first 2,000 built were delivered to Steve Jobs' mom's garage. And they were hand assembled. Wow. Apple II, not a 2 Plus. It has to be a 2, and then it has to be a hand marked serial number on the board under 2,000. And if you find one of Bolo,
and the sawdust preserved.
It. I'm telling you, because it's so much humidity in Vermont. But this thing was pristine. It was filled with sawdust. I think that's what saved it. 80/80s. Whoops, sorry. That wasn't the right one. It's in the same place as this one. 80s.
Put it back on trending plus 2.5.
Turn them down.
So Motorcycle Dork says, I took promoted off on the 9th. For 3 days and put it back on trending plus 2.5. Haven't had a sale since the 12th. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't understand. So both for Gina V and I don't know. How can you not be having sales? I don't know.
Like Josh, Motorcycle Dork, I mean, he was having, a year ago, killer sales, like sales I would love to have. And now nothing. I don't understand how this is happening. It's not like suddenly people aren't looking for motorcycle parts.
And 6x6 says nerd stuff equals money. Yes, I'm hardcore nerd stuff. That's what I sell, nerd stuff. Caught you live this time. Love the new partnership. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. 80s, 80s.
80s.
Yes.
I'm an 80s boy.
Every time you say 80s, we'll play that. It's like taking a shot. I'm really sorry for you guys. This is what I want to say. Wait, I also accidentally no.
Dude, I've been there, Josh.
It's Josh. Okay, Josh.
There's a way you can get them back.
So I guess you could say things are great. Wait, Josh, you do know how Motorcycle Dark Josh, you do know how to get them back, right? Do you know how to get them back? You probably do. I'm assuming you do. It's a pain in the butt, and you have to go to ended auctions and then look for your ended auctions in not in your ended section, like actually on the site, and go to completed items, right? That's how you do it?
You know what? Polish Pete did a video. I just watched it. I wouldn't be able to explain how I did it. I just followed his instructions. But he did the video in response to the initial eBay reset video to kind of help people, because he was very smart, forward thinking, that he knew people were going to make mistakes, including myself.
I believe it is what you do is you go on to the site, you search for your username, advanced, and then go to right next to the search for your name, bring up all your stuff, and then go down the side to completed items. And when you hit completed, it will show everything that you've ended or sold in the past 2 weeks. And then you have to one by one go get it. Yeah. Yes, Pete's video saved him too. Yeah.
Everybody remember to like this video.
Oh yeah.
Thumbs up.
Like and subscribe if you don't mind. That'd be sweet. So thank you to you turned me on to Polish Pete just last night, and we watched our first video with him in his response.
What did he say? Bloody what?
Bloody bullocks. Yeah.
Bloody bullocks.
I mean, the guy. So Josh Galt said something on the eBay Power Hour podcast, which is totally worth watching. Just made a calculation mistake, sort of maybe a conceptual mistake actually, but Polish Pete made sure to not only say it was totally wrong and the world's gonna end because of it, but he said why, and he said how to walk it back and what it really meant. And I thought that was, he's intense, but he did. I ended up having some knowledge after it, because when Josh said it and I watched it and I heard him, I'm like, well, that doesn't sound so bad. Yeah, $1 for every 9. $1 of ad spend gets you $9 back, and it's really not bad at all.
That sounds like a good deal.
It does. It does. So I just thought it was great. But Polish Pete,
mine is just under 20. So I'm thinking, man, I'm a genius.
But which way does it go? If it's under 20, does that mean you're good or bad? We have to ask Polish Pete.
I don't know.
We can't do that.
I never looked at ROAS until the other night. It's just a bunch of BS to me, really.
I'm still not totally convinced a lot of I guess by law they have to be accurate, but is there a law? I don't even know. Like, some of these numbers to me just seem inaccurate. I don't know. I don't even know if the numbers we look at are how right they are. Or do they have like a few days to consolidate them and make them more accurate, and we're looking at these fresh numbers? Kind of like YouTube. It takes a day or two to really get the true understanding of what's happening with the analytics and the eBay analytics.
I know Jack watches his numbers quite a bit, and he'll catch a lot of his numbers being adjusted. I don't actually look at mine that closely to really be able to discern or to notice these things. But for me, I don't know. I have trust issues with a lot of things, just in general.
I don't think it's an issue. I think it's very smart to be distrustful of these numbers. The only number, you say that the page views, the really only number that matters is the bottom line number. And if you don't have a way to achieve that, if your items are good and they're on there, and then you should be like, well, your video points at the very basic point. Everyone would be awesome with promoted listings if it actually added to your
Yes,
bottom
that
line.
was such a good point.
I mean, of course, I will pay you money to give me money, more money than I give you.
Right.
But in terms of what are we getting? This return on ad spend is just a number. Like it's not adding to my wallet. It's just adding to this number.
And I think the point that keeps that like Jack and I, we keep coming back to this, where in April they took away, they did something, whatever they did, it took away in many cases half of people's earnings. Now, not in all, and it's like they wanted to get you to pay to advertise. It's almost like that was their plan. That's the conspiracy theory in me. That's kind of how I view it. And then even if you promote, you don't get back to where you were pre-April.
Right. They took away your sales to then charge you for them, and even if you pay for them, they're not giving them back to you all the way, because they want you to advertise at 25% or some ungodly number that I won't.
I would just love to know what their end game is. What do they want? Do they want 50% of our sales? Is that what they want?
Most of us won't tolerate that. And
well, that's why I asked in last night's video is what is that number in your head, in your business? That what does your selling cost have to be before you're like done? I'm done with eBay, or it's not worth it.
Well, Spam over here and I had a conversation based on your video, asking that, the question, and then she said, because I come from, well, you can say what we talked about, because
a land down under.
Yeah.
The
women grow and men plunder.
I come from a retail background.
Can you speak?
And
my language?
And in the retail, more than 50% of the items we sold, the money we got from them, went toward the cost of operating the business. More than 50%.
Which rent, employees.
Right. So if I used to run a little
utilities,
a t-shirt shop, and if we paid
insurance,
$8 for
air
a t-shirt, we sold it for $16.95. So that $16.95 covered the.
That's at your store. That wasn't my store.
No. Right. The $8 at the shirt cost wholesale, and then we paid employees. We paid rent at the mall.
The mall got a piece of your sales.
Yes,
right?
the mall. So
just doubling your money, you only get like
50%.
10% of your profit. So then you have, okay, good point. Here's what I'm saying. It depends on what type of business you're running.
Yes, it does.
So if you're running James style with a lot of and he did the best thing in the world. Take your $4 hats and make them $10. I think that was the smartest thing he did, because no matter what, it's then not a cheap item that they don't want on the site. It's, I think that was a smart thing anyway. But it's a numbers game then. So yes, you can operate at only 30%. You can spend. So in other words, spend 70% of your income on stuff to get 30% is a totally feasible thing if you're selling enough numbers of items.
I like.
Wait, so let me just make sure I'm wrapping my head around this.
Yeah.
And for some reason, what I'm seeing on my phone, you guys are like a blurry, abstract mess. I can't.
We're a Pollock painting now. We're a Pollock. You had kind of low numbers,
there you
but you're fine on the internet, I think.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if you sold $100 item, it's okay to only make 30% profit?
If you're in the mall, if you are paying for insurance and utilities and everything else, and the mall gets a piece of your profits too, because the mall is bringing in your customers. The mall.
So eBay is like the mall, and we're all tenants in it.
And if the mall is not bringing in your customers, it is not okay to pay that much. But yes, if you're at the mall, taking home 30% is fine. And it's probably less than that. It's probably more like 20%. But you have to sell a lot of T-shirts. In her case, it was T-shirts.
But even in another industry I was in, where I worked for a home office, and a completely different industry, again, still, our retail pricing was only double of the cost to produce the merchandise. And so, if it cost us $100, we sold it for $200.
But that's a numbers game too. You had to sell.
But it was still paying all of our employees, all of the the mortgage on the building we were in. You know, so
And the owner of the place got a $6 million house and in a couple of Mercedes and Blazers. Mercedes and
so
Blazers.
the retail
That's how you know you
the
make it if you have
retail-
Mercedes and a Blazer.
The retail I've been in has
they
only
make Blazers
operated
anymore?
on making less than 50%.
That's retail in a store so
It is.
yeah, he was a destination location.
Wait.
Yeah.
I want to interrupt. Somebody wants to see if you can turn the sound higher.
Mm-hmm. If I can turn the sound.
'Cause I just want them to be able to hear what you're going to say right now about retail.
Okay, let's see. Maybe. Bridget's. Okay, hold on. I got you.
Oh.
Okay. Go. Try it.
Does this sound okay?
Yeah, I told you that. It should be okay. Okay, go.
Testing.
Oh no, do I have to say it again?
Yeah, start at this morning. The first thing you said this morning. Good morning.
No,
Good morning,
I don't
come
think you need to
here.
repeat.
Yeah, you're high. You've got some good levels.
So
Oh.
you were gonna make a comment, Primo, about what Bridget was saying.
I'm all confused by turning up the levels now, so I don't remember.
I was afraid that was gonna happen.
What were you saying?
I just said the other industry I was in,
Jewelry and T-shirts.
Well-
Both of them are real retail businesses that operate on a mall level, even though the jewelry wasn't in a mall. They operate on numbers, so you have to sell a lot of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
I think you were gonna make a comment about how eBay is not that.
eBay is not being that. So
Yeah.
eBay is, if eBay was a mall, I could see spending up to that 70% to keep my business afloat but in the mall you needed insurance. In the mall you needed utilities. Yes, you do pay them in your eBay business, but I would say that, we're coming off with 25% costs on eBay. That's really good in the sense, in the retail world sense, and which is where we both kind of come from. I owned my own store and I didn't take home 50%. I mean, you can't. But that's also why I closed my store. So I wanted to go on eBay so I didn't have to have so much overhead. So
Yeah.
and in the overhead you are paying for on eBay is customer base. That's all they're selling. And they're not selling.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they're,
And the problem is that, and you, I think you kind of touched on it, is that the sales aren't consistent. It's not
Right.
like James does volume, but even his volume has dropped dramatically. So much so that he's had to take a pay cut.
yeah, right. And I think
So
that's
it's like
yeah.
if you're if eBay really is going to a pay to play, which it seems that way.
Mhm.
Two things. Number one, the more you're paying in fees have to justify the amount you're not making anymore. Number two,
Yes.
it has to be consistent. It has to be quantifiable. And I'm just gonna throw this out there. That I literally was just talking. I was talking with Maria about this on FaceTime between Josh's and your channel. And if eBay is making all this money from promoted listings, I feel like there needs to be more transparency about where they're promoting, how they're. So if somebody's promoting at 10% and somebody's promoting at 7%, what are you getting more for that 3% more?
Correct. You do need to get something. So in the
And
mall,
I
you
don't-
get people.
I feel like when eBay's making millions and millions of dollars off of this quote unquote advertising, which it's not advertising, it is literally just paying for placement. But they need to be more transparent about where our money is going. I don't trust and where are these placements or advertisements? Are they quality? Are they garbage impressions? Are they
Yeah.
it's just
Yes.
it's
Well,
it's my trust issue.
Here, and you're not wrong. I mean, they are playing high. What do you call it? High and loose. They're playing fast and loose with us right now, and with the resellers. So they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just, you really sort of put it well this morning with the, missing arm, and then eventually we're just going to be a stump, and it's like, well, now we can't even go out and find stuff to sell on your stupid site anymore because we don't have any arms and legs because you
We're
ate
the
them.
giving tree. That
we're the
story
giving
from
tree.
Shel Silverstein.
And I think that's a very very short-sighted mentality, and I think that somebody else who. But there is the way when I think about Josh Galt and the way he looks at business, I look at it a little bit differently, because any of these technology companies are giving stuff away for the first years. So for 20 years, we had a free ride. Not a free ride. That's totally lame. But we had it really good, let's say. And then at this year, is that you? At this year, midway through this year, or at the end of the first quarter of this year, we got fully they bit off our arm, is what they did. And to make their numbers look good for their investors so they could keep this thing going. But we've got to that high point where, they gave us a bunch of free stuff, or they I can't think right now. The sort of gave us some incentives to be sellers, and then now they feel like they're at that pinnacle where now they're going to start taking from us, and then new people are going to come on board, and they're like, well, this is how it's always been. Or anybody who's shown up in the past few years, or at least in the past 6 months, isn't going to know any different. So they're just like, yay, I want to see the 80% who said that dynamic ads were great and they were going to do it because I have a hankering for a spankerin, and I want to spank them.
You got to have a soundbite for the hankering for a spankerin.
Spankerin. Well, okay, let me check for these people. Boop, boop, boop.
I did like Motorcycle Dork's comment about, I think it was him, he said, I wish they would have just taken a 30% eBay fee instead of making us try to figure out what the heck
we're
supposed to be doing.
You can't have 30% until you give me sales. You have to. My stuff has never changed. I have the same stuff.
Same.
My stuff didn't change. The world didn't change around my stuff. I am hitting the mark perfectly for 45 to 50-year-old nostalgia junkies. I mean, I'm hitting it. I know that because when they allow me to get sales, I can't stop making sales. Yesterday was, for some reason, the past few days, I've sold about 45 records, and the music is all from, some of it's late 60s. Motown stuff, and some of it's 80s. But why so many all of a sudden? And here's one thing I looked at, which reminds me of something else. I looked at my listing quality report, and in that listing quality report, if you download it somewhere on I think it's
YouTube, Facebook, eBay.
it's on eBay, my eBay, and then over to, I think it's under sales. But anyway, you look at your listing quality report, and on that listing quality report, it will tell you where you rank in all your categories, at least the top 20 categories, and it will say you are number 200 of 30,000. So first of all, that means you're pretty high up there. You're doing well, and I think they use that in their algorithm to reward people. The higher they get on that, higher you are in your category, they give you more sales.
And it tells you how you can start ranking higher. It compares you to the top person in the category, and it gives you suggestions as to how you can try to get to the top as well,
this person
compared
has
to that person.
10 pictures instead of your 9. Consider, and here's the part that I think is interesting. I probably I should figure out how to show it to you. Consider advertising at 7%.
And it only
It
was saying
says
that
that.
on one of our categories. So we were surprised that it wasn't saying on every category, you should be advertising at 7, 6.
And I'm
It's
right now
only one.
advertising nothing. So it's telling me which categories to advertise in, how much to advertise in them. Let me see. I'm going to try to show it to you because it's super interesting.
Okay, while you're doing that, I just wanted to touch upon something that you said, is that the higher advertising fees that we're paying, and you know, the less we're making, the less we're going to have to source. So the less we're going to have to go out and buy more
Those
inventory to actually go on and put on eBay. So, you know, I think eBay's strategy right now is very short term, and it's very concerning because you know, sellers are leaving, sellers are cross listing on district, sellers are just leaving, reselling, buyers are leaving. That was it. Buyers are leaving, so the whole site is like slowly imploding a little bit.
Well, I think that's a good point too, because a lot of the shoppers, the buyers on eBay are also sellers. So if the sellers are leaving because they're not getting buyers, well, then we're also losing that seller that was a potential buyer too.
Yeah. Because, by the way, sellers are buyers too.
We are, at least.
Yeah.
We try to support our fellow eBayers.
When I was talking with Jet yesterday, he really drilled a point home how, like, when you go to the eBay homepage and you've got these banners scrolling across there, and then, well, let me just go there real quick because I want to actually know what I'm talking about here. So you go there, and then it'll show you. First off, everything on this page is trying to sell you something as a seller. It's got the ads that are going up top. It's got banners, and then it's got your recently viewed items. Mm-hmm. So it's trying to remind you, hey, and funny thing is most of the recently viewed items are my own items on here because I'm looking at my own items.
Yes.
But then it's sponsored items based on your recent views. And then there's more categories, shoppers that you also like. So eBay, when they changed that feature of as a seller, you had money kind of that you were going to get into a payout. And then they changed it to where you can now use that money to go buy things.
That's the spendable funds.
Which we don't have that on our main account.
Right.
It's not
only
available.
on our new
Okay,
account.
so I have that on mine.
Yeah, I don't know what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Our oldest account does not have it, and our newest one does.
So in a way, sellers are almost eBay's most important customer.
And
yes.
We've also gotten some sort of a feedback on that issue that was asking on our other account, our newer account.
Yeah.
It was asking us, would we be interested in banking services from eBay? Would we like to keep our money in an eBay account if we had like a debit card and we could spend it from there, or if we could spend it on eBay? It's an interest. You can kind of get an idea of where they're going with that. Again, if I only had our oldest account, I wouldn't know any of this. This is all from this new account.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they are interested in money, keeping it there, becoming a bank, doing all this stuff, you know.
I know some people have speculated that they have withheld payments for extra amount of days just so they can make money off the interest. I don't know if that's
I read that
viable.
That's not true, but who knows?
Yeah.
And Jet saying, well, I'm passing over a couple. Sorry, I'll go back. But Jet says no promoted listing on any of their accounts. We use competitive pricing due to the majority of buyers using lower price first. And they do that. And competitive pricing is ideal. Now, I'm going to be a contrarian to the norms because I overprice my stuff. I overprice everything. I do not sell anything that isn't, for the most part, in excellent or really, really excellent condition. So I think that the stuff is the highest grade version of this item. Records are a good example. Most of our records are near mint or excellent, which is kind of a fake very good plus, but very good plus doesn't sound good, so I say excellent. And then very good is reserved for super rare items that I'm not going to throw it in the garbage because it's worth $60 even if it's banged up. type thing. We'll sell that. So we end up getting, if so many things is the highest price of that item in, research. You can research it for 2 years, and it's usually we're selling it for the highest price out of anybody else selling that same item.
Dude, I'm with you on that, and I price my items a little high for a little bit of a different reason. I mean, this is something that I used to do. I'm trying to get away with this. Is my inventory is a mess. Like, I basically went too many years without a proper kind of SKU system. So I would always price my items high, knowing that buyers have no problem making offers. And so when somebody made me an offer, it afforded me the opportunity to go locate it first before accepting. So that's kind of like my logic. Now, as I started 6 months ago. I'm going back. I'm going through my inventory, and as I list new things, I have a very specific system. So those items I am pricing more competitively. Whereas my older ones, I have over 8,400 listings. So it gets to be, I'm shocked that I don't lose more things than I do, but it's just stressful. Mm-hmm. So that was my logic in pricing things higher. But and that worked pre-April for me. Like, that strategy worked, and then I would lower prices every few months and until it got to a point and I found that equilibrium where a buyer would buy it. But we're in a different environment right now. But yeah,
I would say 75% are offers and about 25% are people just buying it outright. So then I think to myself, 25% of my items are priced. They're either priced right or they're desirable enough where somebody's like, I better get that before it goes away. And then the other 75 is I'm sending offers. My offer structure is 20 to 25% off of the price.
For me, it depends on the item. It depends on the item, and it depends on how comfortable I can find it.
You should do inventory. We should do a whole show on you doing inventory for like 3 days. Inventory live stream.
I was just going to say, for me as a shopper on eBay, I'm willing to pay a little more for something if the seller has excellent feedback and is a top seller rated.
It does matter.
That
to
me
people.
Means a lot. Somebody's reputation. So, we all have our reasons for wanting to pay less, wanting to pay more, or willing to pay more. But for me, it is, I will pay a little more if somebody has top rated status.
I think that's true. I mean, because I don't know, trust. You have trust issues.
Returns. They take returns. That's a biggie for me. Just as a seller, from a seller, or I'm sorry, as a buyer's perspective.
Jeff, you said to me once that there's not just one way to sell on eBay. That it's like it's separated into personalities, and then there's a best way to sell on eBay for different personality types. And I think the same is for buying. Certain personality types. I guess I have trust issues too, because I am willing to spend a little bit more if I know that person is a quality seller.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to a name that might say electronic recycler or something, I just would be more likely to buy from somebody who's got nicer pictures. If I'm buying a item that requires that kind of quality.
Sound is quiet.
What? Sound is still quiet? I mean, I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, and everything's turned up. I don't know.
Maybe it's mine. I don't know.
No, it can't be. We don't know what we're doing. That's why it's too low.
Oh yeah, like the fact that we're even on camera
is amazing. You guys are asking for too much. You actually want to hear us and see us?
Yeah, I thought just visual alone would be enough.
Okay, I'm turning you up to 158%. I am at 167%. You should be able to hear us now. If you can hear us and we sound louder, tell us in the chat. That would be awesome. And let me go.
And sorry, that must be annoying.
That was Gravity Goods. I don't want to sound quiet. I don't. So thank you.
Yeah.
2 people said we did. But let me just go right back up here and just mention that, let's see, Bendel420 says he's on the East Coast too. That's awesome. We saw Motorcycle Dork way back. He said he had 2001 in gross sales in 2022 and 96 now in 2023. And that's not unsimilar to us. We, you know, and it's gross, of course, but it's super gross when you lose half of your gross income. So I just hate to see that, but I know how it feels too. If you're using promoted listing standards simply based on whatever you set your promoted percentage at, it doesn't have much use at all. I mean, yes, that's the return on ads funds or whatever. 6x6 says the roughest part of promoted listings is the double dip on transaction fees and promoted ad rate. Motorcycle Dork says, I wish they would have... Oh, you already read that. Can you guys turn us higher? We did. Outside Worlds. I hope it's okay. Trading cards. That was what I wanted to read. eBay put all the investments in new envelopes for trading cards under $20. They just expanded their envelope service. Well, they are encouraging certain categories. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get my thing up. It wouldn't, because it's in Google Sheets, and it's for some reason I have to log in. I don't know why it's doing that. But it's called the Listing Quality Summary Category Overview Beta. And it specifically says, like, music, vinyl records, listing condition used. So under those terms, it says that my rank by sales, GMV, gross market value, I guess, is 1,282 out of 104 sellers in this category.
104,000 sellers.
Because otherwise that would be wrong. Yeah. 104,000 sellers. And improve, it says, to improve my search impressions, fill out at least 8 recommended item specifics, as opposed to probably 7. Because we fill out so many.
And so that recommendation is in comparison to the top sellers. So it's telling us what they are doing, essentially, and saying, do it.
On average
if you
listings,
want to compete with them.
With the most impressions in eBay search in this category have 8 recommended listing specifics filled out. And it says that to me. So that means that I should do that. And then one that is...
Hey, you know where there's no promoted item specifics?
Where?
On a district.
So are you going to do district? You're doing it.
Oh no, I am. I'm in the process of getting onboarded and getting it. Like, it's super easy to, like, dude. It's so, like, do you ever list items on eBay through the phone app?
No, never.
I never do. I never do, because it's too cumbersome, and I've actually done it through district, and it's super easy. Like, it's amazing.
I'm 54 years old. I can't look. My iPhone, it's kind of a toy to me. It's like, yes, it can do everything the desktop can do, but hey, Sonny, I gotta wear the big glasses. I gotta do it on the big screen here.
I use the iPhone to do all the photos, though. Yes. I upload all the photos from my iPhone to every listing.
So you do use it to list.
I do, yeah.
She's a youngster.
So do you upload them and create a draft, and then Primo finishes it?
Yeah, I create a draft using the iPad, but it's the desktop version of eBay, and then
that's another trick, yeah. Because so she's using an iPad to enter it with the desktop app, because if you don't, then it uses the wrong fonts and stuff. There's like some weirdness that happens.
Yeah, and then I use my iPhone to actually put the photos into those drafts that I created, and then he finalizes them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, back to district.
I do the final processing.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that teamwork. That would be helpful. But no, I mean, I'm just thinking in my head. I'm thinking to myself about, like, all the fees, and you're talking about how 70% is retail, and that's acceptable to people who are in retail. I wonder what that number is gonna end up being, and we might not know it for a couple years. Where sellers
the exodus
kind of like stomach it.
Yeah.
but there has to be, and I don't know if it's District, I don't know if it's going to be another competitor, I don't know if it's somebody who's already here, whether it's Mercari or Posh, that they can think, oh, you know what, eBay is charging, their sellers, this much, we can do it for half of that. And they're going to eat eBay's lunch, in my opinion.
Well, look, I can just go on Shopify, put all my stuff on there, and pay Google AdSense. Is that what you use to advertise on Google? I could do that myself rather than give it to eBay. So eBay advertises other people's stuff on my sale page. At some point, that's the kind of thought process I would just go off on my own. Because eBay, the reason you stay on eBay is for the customers. That's why we're here, people.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Well, and any eBay people that aren't, or any shoppers that are not eBay users, they're just going to Google, typing in an item that they want to see,
right.
And now it's not even going to be showing up on
Outdoor World says
on Google.
Now eBay will not show our listings on the Google search. Only users who are paying eBay for Google.
So we're going
ads
to
will be showed
lose
out.
customers.
So we're going to lose customers, and I think so. Josh sort of said on his show yesterday or day before, he was kind of like, I know they're going to do these offsite ads. And then the next day it showed up on my thing. And it showed up yesterday, the offsite ads, so you could start paying them more money for the offsite ads. But then when I looked it up on YouTube, I saw that, it was actually released in Britain 3 months ago. And I saw a person from now on, I'm going to start writing down more names so I can really actually direct people to them. But you can search YouTube for offsite ads, eBay. You'll get a couple of older videos, 3 months old, from the UK where they've done it. And the person that was talking was saying, looking at the actual information when you put in your fees and saying so maybe you want to have a $5 a day ad spend, and then they say, but it's really, you have to do it for a month. So that's $150, first of all. So to even partake in it, you have to, it's $5 a day, but it has to be $150. And then it says in there in the fine print that eBay can do whatever the hell they want with that $150 based on market conditions and, events or something, where they might take, instead of doing it at $5 a day, they might do it at $20 for a couple of days, and then you won't have it for the whole month. So if the first part of the month was some reason they thought that they should spend all your money, they'll do that, and then you won't have any more for the rest of the month. So it's all baloney.
And then did I hear that you could be penalized if you end your...
Yes, they're going to penalize you multiple days at twice the price if you end it early. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's out there. I didn't want to get into the super minutia because we're trying to keep it light.
No, we're not. We're digging into the wound.
We still love you, eBay.
We do. I do love eBay. I mean, look, it's given me a job for. Womp, womp, womp. It does. I love eBay, but
we just want eBay to be better.
It was better, right? So then it changed to bad, and it's not going to go back, everybody.
So Jet says the sellers are the captured. So we are the primary revenue source. Regular buyers have to be marketed to bring them in. Sellers are the easiest customers, hence the promoted listings revenue. And I think the
fish in a barrel.
The conspiracy theorist in me is eBay knew that sellers who have been with the platform for a long time and who have thousands and thousands and thousands of listings, they're going to be stuck at least in the short term.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And they're going to have to pay these rates, but I know for my own personal, I am aggressively looking into my options to lessen how big of a percentage eBay is in my total overall profits.
I think that's smart.
Well, I know the districts and yours. I actually have an onboarding on December 1st, and I'm only doing it because you're doing it, and I don't want to be left behind. So I'm FOMOing myself into district, but I'm not doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to go through the motions because I don't want to be just left here with my pants down. I would prefer to be on the cutting edge if I so choose to be on the cutting edge. But I don't know what I'm going to do yet because I really want to see what happens to some people. I don't want to be the first off the the beach head. I want to come in a little bit later.
I say this. I've repeated myself, and it's the same thing. It's like we all complain about why is there not a competitor to eBay, and now we've got Posh and we've got Mercari, and I just don't know if my particular items would do well on those platforms, and there's things about them that I don't really like, and so far I like what I see with District, and I'm a lot like you. I don't want to not get involved because I don't want to let 6 months go by and then be like, oh, I could have been, at least listing a few items every day, or at least, promoting it and encouraging other people to even just be a buyer on the platform, because we have an obligation. Like going back to what Polish Pete was saying to in regards to Josh and John, people who have YouTube channels, whether they like it or not, on some level, they are influencers. I mean, that is a very loose term, but what they say, it does cause people to think, and thinking leads to action. And if we're not, I just cannot sit by and act like promoted listings are the way. I'm going to get on board. I'm giving eBay all my money. It's not worth it. I would rather not be in reselling than to give away 50% of my profits. To me, it's just not worth it. It's not fun. It's not what I signed up for, and it's not what it's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to find, whether I just open up a brick and mortar store in my hometown, I would rather do that, and I would rather do it on my own than or whether I just sell locally or open my own Shopify store or open my own website.
Well, you can open up your own website. I mean, anybody can do that, and then you just have to figure out how to drive the traffic to it, which is why we're at eBay, because that's a hard thing to do, and it's not necessary. And
it's even harder for I think it's even harder to do for people who sell things like you and I, because we sell everything.
Yeah.
Like if you're niched down, that's one thing. You can be targeted, and you have an advantage. So I think that's why I use eBay, but. I am not convinced, I'm not convinced that this new strategy that eBay is going is actually going to work long term.
Well, there's also so many people involved in this that you don't even, there's so many people on eBay. So we have 18 million sellers right now or something insane. And I wonder just how far they're going to push us, or how much they can afford to lose, I guess. And that maybe they do. Maybe they can afford to lose a whole bunch. That's why they're pushing us right now. We can lose, 9 million people.
I wonder how many are full-time sellers, because they really have us by the you-know-what, because we
No, what are you saying?
The cojones. If we're counting on this as our only source of income, then we pretty much have to do whatever they tell us to do, I feel, in a way.
Well, then it's up to us to not rest on our laurels and go to District.
Exactly, because it doesn't feel good. This is why I do what I do, so I can be my own boss. I know eBay, we work for eBay, but I don't want to feel like they're like my boss and they're like dictating what I do on a daily basis.
I don't want them to feel like I'm working for somebody. I want to fool myself into thinking I'm literally retired and I'm just selling stuff because it's a fun thing to do. I like to look for stuff and spend money and then sell stuff. But now,
and let me ask you this.
Don't make it work.
If you had never sold on eBay and you came into eBay right now, with this new environment that we're at, how successful do you think you'd be?
Well,
because think about this. What Josh was talking about today is how it's getting more difficult to source good items at a reasonable price to flip. So it's not just your advertising that's going up; it's your sourcing that's going up.
Yep.
And every inflation is going up. Everything is going up. It's almost like it literally is the perfect reseller storm that is it's inevitably gonna knock people out. But I think the only reason you and I are kind of and sellers who have been established on eBay is because we already have the items. We already have the items listed. So we're making money. We're adjusting on the fly, but
Yes.
we're making less. And as the longer this goes, I think the more, I think that's why eBay is like, they're not giving guidance. They're saying that, earnings are going to be flat. They know this, like they see the numbers, I think, of long-term sellers that are either leaving or selling less because they're cross-listing.
Do you think they make more money off new hires or new sellers? I'm looking at them as hires. Because it seems like, you're supposed to make more money off of people you don't have to work on so hard, which would be established sellers. But maybe they make more money off the new sellers because they're promoting higher. They don't really know that they shouldn't be paying so much for, these services.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
And they're just like, get rid of the old guys.
Well, they're clearly not watching our videos then.
No, eBay is not watching because they're not watching.
No. I'm talking about the new sellers.
Oh, well, thank goodness.
They're looking at us and going, "Oh, you old grumpy people, eBay,
you guys on eBay."
Yeah. They're the wave. 3 of the new
don't
sellers?
the kids watch YouTube though? The kids are watching YouTube. I thought we were.
Maybe we should be on TikTok. Maybe that's how we
that's what we're doing wrong. Oh. Wait, I hope where were we on we've already gone an hour here. No promote. Okay, we already read that. Spam, you got a compliment saying you said it best. Sellers without cash flow don't become or stay buyers with extra money. Jet Fixer, all sellers. That's the captured comment. Jet says eBay's great. I'm not sure. Is that facetious? I'm not sure how to read that.
I think he said it after I said,
Is he
I
winking?
love you, eBay, or we love you, eBay.
I hope that District gains a following. I think their platform gets anywhere. I was looking at it and I was like, oh, Snapchat. There's something to District. Everybody watch District. Well, keep your eye on that thing because something may happen there because it's something that could happen there. Our thrift stores in Michigan have lost their minds. Old cameras are 20. I've heard this across the board too, that thrift stores are out of their minds. And my thought process on that is, first of all, there's more thrift stores. So people got into the thrift business because it was profitable. And that's what's driving up the prices in there because the amount of stuff's getting less. There's so much stuff in America. Americans are hoarders. All of us are. There's all of us have way too much stuff. And I wonder if the percentage of the too much stuff is going down.
Well, the good percentage of the good stuff nowadays, everything is, fast fashion and made really poorly. So we're not going to have any good product in, 10, 15 years in the thrift stores. It's going to be all
the best
garbage.
Best Buy, I think the best, and this is one of my super secret secrets. For
those of us who have stayed this long.
Yes, because we only talk about it like at least an hour later, because this is the money. The best place to source things is from people who are from I don't want to say this. It's taking advantage of a situation.
Oh God.
So it's the best place to source is
Bye.
What do you mean? You don't want me to say that? Well,
No.
look, some people might. Okay, so say somebody loses a job and they have to sell something to pay their mortgage. That's a good place to go buy. I'm not saying that, somebody's got to buy their stuff.
If you don't buy it, someone else
That's
will.
right.
Yeah, no, I get that. Right. You're not saying you're trying to take advantage of them.
No.
They're just willing to sell something for a fairly reasonable price because they're in a situation where they are desperate for money.
And as the economy and everything in the future does not look that great. Thankfully, we got louder magically. Nice. Stock up from relatives. Awesome idea. Go to people who just want to get rid of their stuff. I mean, there are ways to do this that aren't through Craigslist, a Facebook marketplace, thrift stores. not a big believer in. I don't do the pallets or I don't do the bins. I don't do thrift stores. We could do, but we haven't been to one in. I don't think we've been to one in a year, and we didn't buy anything. Usually, I go there to look for Christmas crapple that we can use at our house. But you got to look for alternative sourcing places.
Check the obituaries.
There was a movie wasn't there a movie about the people who checked the obituaries and then they went and bought all the mid-century furniture from all the people. I used to do that. So that is a thing, but you're not taking stuff from people. When you go to a thrift store, you're not buying, you're not taking stuff from the poor people. Poor people don't need your plush, the plushes that you have. That's not stealing from poor people. That's just keeping stuff out of the landfill, essentially, sort of. You have to be able to, use your wits, I guess, to find stuff. And that means, sure, garage sales, but estate sales, but also, check the obituaries. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
So Outdoor World said eBay strategy, and I agree with this comment, is to push all longtime sellers to adapt or leave. New sellers find promoting as normal, and and they will pay 35% to sell, and they will be fine with that. But will they be profitable? Will they be able to sustain that? Will they?
People are dumb, sort of, though. When there's new froshes, these are freshmen.
What if they're not?
They don't know any better.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Pam.
I was just going to say, but what if a lot of these new sellers are moving away from the stuff that we're used to selling?
Well, cards.
What if they're moving toward the cards? But I feel like people might be moving into new product too.
No,
selling
I know
it.
everything. No? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know anything.
No,
really.
Where
more than
would
me.
they get this new
Overseas. How do people on Amazon get their loads of product when they're independent sellers?
I see what you're saying.
Is eBay going to be sort of like that with the
nostalgic items and like collectibles? I don't think those are going out of style.
No. But I'm saying new sellers that come on board might be more into.
Here's my point, Jeff. How about this?
Yeah.
So the price of comic books has gone down, like collectible wise, like just because, but it's ebb and flow. So right now, some things are down. This is the time to buy those things, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So because they're going to come back up again eventually. I did a really long-term thing. So a lot of the stuff we bought, we held in storage units for 20 years until it's called speculative accumulation. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm profiting on now. I would like to profit double of what I'm profiting now because that's what I was making up until June, was double. And now I got to sell the same stuff for half, which is still,
yes, Michael.
thousands of times more than I paid for it. But
Michael, is his last comment, the last sentence says, I feel eBay doesn't want old used items anymore. I agree.
They don't want old used items. They want quality.
If they're in the collectibles, maybe.
Quality, inexpensive items are okay. But I think raw items or things that are not.
I don't think we know, really.
We don't.
I don't think we know.
I don't know anything.
What do we know? Are we overthinking all of this?
Yeah, we are.
So, an hour later,
eBay's
we have
laughing
decided.
at us. They're like, you guys.
We really have no idea what we're talking about. And nobody does, to be honest with you, unless you actually work. Unless you're an algorithm, you don't know what the heck is going on. Unless you work for PricewaterhouseCoopers, like we were talking about yesterday, the consultants that tell eBay what to do or how to implement their seller gouging practices, we're not going to know, really. We're just trying stuff until something sticks and we make a little money.
Yeah, I just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
But it's done if it sticks to the wall.
Yes, al dente.
Al dente. So we are al dente, and it's been an hour and.
Okay.
So we peaked at 22 watchers, and that's where we're at now. I think that's probably a good place to maybe do some closing thoughts and sail off onto the Thursday sunset.
We got to go list some stuff. We all have to go list
We
stuff.
gotta work.
That's right. So what are your final comments?
Oh man. Okay, wait. There was something I wanted to comment on, but I can't remember what it was now. I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I'm drawing a complete blank.
I mean, I think what we talked about today was that we know absolutely nothing about anything, but we do know that Polish Pete was right to abacus.
Hold people accountable.
Old people are
influencers
Hold.
okay. Hold
Hold
people
people.
accountable. Source in new ways that will get you. Let's say the prices are going up, which they are. You need to figure out how to source more better.
Okay, I know. I think I know now what I wanted to say. I believe that wherever eBay is going with their fee structure, that I don't think it's going to work. But if it does, and they push out old sellers or longtime sellers, and they're trying to just capitalize off of new sellers, and let's say the new sellers stay, I believe that, you know, another platform, whether it's District or whether it's another, I feel another site is going to come along, and it's going to be what the old eBay used to be, because I feel like the concept of eBay pre-April is like, it's something to cherish and nurture, because eBay is such a unique marketplace, and like a lot of people, they'll maybe be skeptical about buying on eBay, but to be honest with you, as a seller, you know this, both of you know this, how much care we put into what we do and how protected the buyers are. Like, I don't buy a lot on eBay, and I don't buy a lot on eBay because I don't like to buy on eBay. I love to buy on eBay, but I have so much stock already that it would be dumb for me to be spending more money buying things for myself like that, like especially in this climate, in this environment. But eBay is like one of the safest places you can buy on, because you're going to get exactly what, and if you, so I sold a comic book the other day, and it had like this tiny little crease, but it wasn't a crease. It was actually something that, because I had two of them, I had two comics, so I went and I pulled another one that I had, and it had the same exact, it was just a line that went down the middle that you can't see if you look at it straight on, but if you tilt it, you can see it. And so the guy messaged me, and I ended up just refunding him and saying, you know, just keep it. I apologize. I'm like, this isn't actually a defect. It actually came from the printer like that. But we are, as sellers, are so concerned about the potential for negative feedback that we will literally bend over backwards and take it to prevent anything from blemishing.
May I have another?
Account.
Yes.
And so he basically just got it for free, because, and he was happy. I mean, I'm happy that he left positive feedback and he was happy. I'm not happy that I pretty much had to do that. So for people who don't shop on eBay, they're missing out. But the marketplace of eBay is in danger, in my opinion, of the current state of where they're going. But I also am optimistic that I believe that another platform will come along. So my closing thoughts are, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe consider upping your, you know, being aggressive and starting to downsize your eBay stores, and then have an eye on other marketplaces. Yeah,
you must diversify. That, I mean, that's a good, I mean, that's business 101, and we don't necessarily all practice it because eBay is so miles above all the other ones. But
the other thing too,
it's
is
lowering itself's quality.
eBay, I feel, has good customer service for sellers. So who knows what some of these other platforms have for customer service?
Well,
for
they
sellers.
don't. They're way behind the time.
Yeah.
eBay's trust and safety
So
has
I
grown
appreciate that.
and is mature. And the other ones like Whatnot, it's not. That's why there was some.
Wait. You said they have good customer service for sellers?
I feel we have had great experiences with the customer service.
You must be patient, and you must not call that often. and you must be okay with being disappointed.
But
and then in that case, yeah, they're
I find comfort in knowing that they are there to call us back when we put in a ticket.
One more secret. Call Sunday morning. Call Sunday morning. You will get often. I will call at 8 a.m. Eastern time, 5 o'clock eBay time.
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah. Did they go away?
I'm just saying you're making this announcement, so
Oh.
now
The reason why, and I also say my account was hacked. That's another one that I used, and it ends up going to
select that.
a person on this continent. So you end up with a person, and they can answer
I'm
all
out of
questions. Too many
only
secrets.
19 people watching now.
Yes, they all left, so it's okay. But you guys
You're
just
so
keep plugging.
You're so like Maria.
She does.
Spam.
She does not want me to
She's
jeopardize.
always says I talk too much and I give too much away.
Look, I'm just saying that if you want, I'm just saying a good time to call. And then I have used account hack to get in. If I was like having a meltdown about something, you don't always have to click on the right thing to get through. But also, they say that there's the biggest problem is people calling 20, 30 times. So sellers being super annoying, overusing the system
ridiculous.
is why, sometimes they have to cut back on services. So,
But we've always had really great experiences. So.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
eBay, you so good. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. I think this was really cool. I'm so glad that you could hear us and see us.
Sorry if you couldn't hear us all that well for the good portion.
We did hear that we actually magically went up, so I guess
I wonder how.
I moved
happened.
some things and maybe that worked.
Yeah.
And also, big props to the 3 ladies on the screen here, the original Charlie's Angels. They're just awesome. So thank you. And we'll see you. I think we'll see you next week.
Thank you,
Are you going to be back
everyone.
next week? We'll see you next week, 2:30 on
Thanks,
Thursday.
Hayfro.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Good luck on eBay.
Woo!
Adios.